Hi everyone, thank you for joining. Today we have another episode of the podcast Financial Independence Alive. And as usual, Clau Torres, who is my medicine woman, who facilitates the ayahuasca during my retreats. And we will talk about today about the spiritual insights you can get from the ayahuasca. And one of the things that is very profound about this is to understand yourself better, the connection with the universe, but also your place in the world. And we're going to dive deeper in this podcast. But first, here is Clau Torres, the love alchemist.
Hi, very nice to see you again, Monique. Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. We are ready to dive into another topic about ayahuasca.
Yes. So can you tell me, Clau, I announced a little bit about it, what kind of spiritual insights you can get from the ayahuasca, because you can dive really deep with this experience during a ceremony. What are the examples you get from participants who did the ayahuasca? How can I interpret it? What is it to feel more connected with the universe? And what is it that I understand myself better? And what is it that I understand my place in the world? Can you elaborate? Yeah.
Absolutely. So you know how we have been conditioned to believe that we are so separate from each other. You are you, and we compete because if I don't compete, I'm not gonna make it. And yeah, I feel like we have been programmed to believe that we are so separate from each other, that we're so separate from the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, from the universe. We're just these little humans that are here all by themselves, that they have to fend for themselves, right? And so this is what most people, I used to believe that, that I had to struggle to make it, that I was so alone and separate from everybody else. And that competing was the only way. But ayahuasca, she allows you to experience the opposite. She allows you through feel that you are the same with that little ant crawling down there. You, during your experience with ayahuasca, you are the tree that is there surrounding you, and you can perceive the tree as, its own source, but you can also see yourself as part of that tree. And it's like you can communicate with that tree. And that just really expands you and allows you to come back to the idea that we are not alone. We have never been, and that we are so connected to each other. Also, that to each other within the circle, all the women connect, and it's almost like we are weaving this thread of energy where everybody is helping and contributing to the others. Journey to overcome whatever experiences they are enduring through this ayahuasca ceremony. And it just makes you feel so connected to your other sisters that it's just really amazing. It really, you come back, like, even for people who had been like atheists and non-believers of anything, they come back out of an ayahuasca ceremony just really having a great sense of connection and belonging in the world. it's definitely a really profound and deeply spiritual experience to come
Yeah.
to an ayahuasca ceremony.
Well, one of the last steps in my method I created, which is called serendipity. I remember when I did the ayahuasca, and because of this shift, like not only in mindset, but also in my heart, in my soul, in everything. And for me, it was life changing, right? I absolutely felt like everything has its purpose, and I didn't have to do anything actually that I get helpers on my journey, and also my manifesting was way more easier because I was thinking about like, oh, I actually needed someone who could explain me this and this and this, and then in the next week I find someone who exactly does that. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. So you're so much more connected to the universe. And it's true. I felt immense, like I was way more sensitive for energy, way more sensitive, and but also all very grateful for everything that for this experience, for being there, meeting you, meeting the other women, all those things. The deep, profound feeling of gratitude was actually overwhelming in the beginning. And it was such a warmth that you get over yourself in that matter. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how do you, I mean, this is my personal experience about connecting with the universe. How do you see that how do you have your connection with the universe, and what did your participants experience?
I mean, we've had so many different and profound experiences. I can tell you about one of my most recent personal experiences, um, where we were um, I was like tending the fire during the ceremony, and I was connecting with the fire. And during the ceremony, the fire is an entity that helps us transmute energy, right? And so we give offerings to the fire, we give thanks to the fire, and we just we're working with this energy and the spirit of the fire. We call it abuelito fuego. And so I am making an offering, and then I didn't know this, but there was a piece of wood that was super, super, super heavy. And when I put it in the fire, I had no idea what it was or why was it so heavy. It was almost like it was made of concrete, but it was wood. And it was I am burning it, and the fire was going out and was going out and was going out. And I was like, come on, abuelito fuego, let's give us your warmth, give us your light. And I was just like cheering it. And then something incredible like happened. So I was like, the fire, like the flame came up, and then it comes up, and then it comes into my third eye, and it goes in, and I see like this really white spark that turns everything white and then blue. And the entity began to speak to me. And then it said, we are the guardians of the forest. We are the Seva. Sevas don't burn. We are fire containers. We contain the fires. We do not propagate the fires. Your fire, it's not going to ever pick up. And I'm like, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I know I know the Seva are sacred trees, and they are the guardians of the forest in this area.
Yes.
And I'm like, I just, in that moment, I just felt so much sorrow, and like a stream of trees began to, just pour down. And I was just like crying from so deep within. And I'm like, I am so sorry. And I am so sorry. And then it showed me how that area where we were holding the ceremony, they did not honor the guardians, and they had chopped them down. And that's how we had this piece of wood that was from a Seva. And to me, that was very, very, very profound, that the spirit of the Seva, the guardians of the forest,
Yes.
came to talk to me. Another message that he gave me, he said, "We are the spirits of the guardians, brothers of the redwoods and sequoias, the giants of the California coast." So like, my goodness, I am so sorry. So to me, that was, very profound, very spiritual, and very touching. I was super sensitive. And it's like every time after ceremony for the last, the next few weeks, I just close my eyes and I can just see this bright light that it would immediately take me into connecting with the guardian of the forest, the Seva.
So what
Really
did you
amazing.
do when it didn't pick up the fire?
I gave thanks. And I just like, okay, I get it. It's just not gonna burn.
Yeah.
So I used like smaller pieces of wood that I had to kind of try and keep it, because the fire is very important, in the
Yes.
ceremony.
Yeah.
So I tried to keep at least a little flame, and I would just like, but it never ever, like it would, like it was almost like charcoal if I fan
Yeah.
it, but
Yeah.
it did not burn.
Yeah.
It would not burn.
Yeah. So how would you, I mean, I can imagine that people say, yeah, okay, nice that I have a spiritual insight, but what can I do with it when I go back to normal life again? What would you answer on that?
Well, to me, this just allowed me to feel more connected, because there's a lot of Saivas around here, and like I used to see these trees, and I see them, and then they have just this mighty energy. And now every time I see a Seiva, I just like my whole body just feels called to come, and like I want to go sit and meditate. And if I do this, like I come and meditate under a Seiva or by a Seiva, and it's just an instant connection.
Yeah.
That I feel like I'm closer to nature, and I feel like somehow like nature is constantly communicating with me, and like I sort of left an open channel to hear the message of Mother Earth.
Yes.
So that's how I feel like we can use it, because I feel like Mother Earth, our body and everything, is in constant communication with us, but we're so busy over here that we can't hear it. And after an ayahuasca ceremony where you have these spiritual connections, these are connections that last, and you begin to have more experiences that could be called serendipity, or it could be called just an open channel to have more clear communication with the universe.
Yeah. Well, that's what I experienced. Absolutely. Yes. Is there anything else? I mean, could you elaborate about your place in the world? I mean, when I did the ceremony, I definitely understood why things happened to me, and also like the structure, the logic of the things that happened, all the events that happened in my life. For me, it made all sense at that point,
Mm-hmm.
and after the ceremony, I absolutely knew, like, well, this is what I need to focus on for the next couple of months or maybe year, to really work with that answer what you get during the ceremony. And for me, it only brought only good in that matter. That's why I'm very, very fond of doing a ceremony, and that's why I asked you to work together, because way more women need to do this, right? So,
Yeah.
what is your take on this? How would you explain understanding your place in the world better? Because you have done it way more often than I did. So,
After an ayahuasca ceremony, you begin to realize that it's not you against the world or the world against you, and that you're not this poor little thing that is so isolated and just fending for herself. You understand that life happens for you rather than to you. And you really begin to see how everything that has happened is what brought you here today to be having this experience. And therefore, it also gives you more a part on, um, it allows you to connect more with you, the idea that you can be the creator of your own reality. That you can actually be in command, because once you experience that, well, this is what my way of thinking took me through all of these experiences through life, which eventually brought me here. Then you begin to see, well, what if I shift my way of thinking and viewing the world, and what would that lead me to? And then you become more the creator of your life rather than the victim of your life.
yeah,
So life happens for you,
yeah,
not to you.
yeah. That's absolutely, well, that's what I experienced. And every time, well, and I told this in the last video as well. Every time I have a predicament, I'm like, okay, what will be revealed? Because I know something. The universe is wanting to show me something that I didn't see before, and it reveals itself every
Yeah.
single time. Every single
Yeah.
time. Absolutely. So yeah, that's an understatement for me too. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And therefore you can experience more joy, more happiness, more abundance, more
Yes.
excitement, more passion in your life. Yeah.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Is there anything else, Cloud, that you would like to add on getting spiritual insight by ayahuasca?
Um, I would say ayahuasca allows you to remember that you are not just this physical carbon
Yeah.
body. It allows you to remember that you are actually a soul living in a body, just having a human experience, and that you're way more than you have led to believe. So, yeah, I guess I can leave you with that.
No, I think that's a great way to finish this podcast for today. Thank you so much for showing up here. Thank you all for tuning in with us. And next week we're gonna launch another episode. See you then. Bye for now.